move on to Christopher King, who is an IT consultant. Mr. King.
Hello. Why does Great Britain always adhere so strictly to EU laws when other countries seem to cherry-pick which laws they're going to comply with?
Mr. King, thank you. A nice booming voice as well. Nick Clegg, it falls to you first. Your minute.
Actually, we're roughly middle of the pack. There are some other European countries, Christopher, that are better at kind of, abiding by the rules. There's some that are worse. Look, you need, don't you, in a big marketplace like this, where I don't know what your business is, Christopher, but lots of people, as you know, are in businesses in this country where they export to the rest of the European Union. You need some basic rules. It actually helps businesses not to have 28 different rules when you are selling your products to different parts of the European Union. That's why you need to have those rules, to make sure that selling to 500 million consumers on our European doorstep in this largest economy in the world is done in a way where people don't fiddle the rules. That's why you have a court, that's why you have rules, that's why they, generally speaking, should of course be obeyed, and it's exactly the same, of course, in Britain too. And look, you'll hear from Nigel Farage say, 75% of our laws. No, actually the House of Commons has shown that roughly 7% of all new laws are related to the European Union. But they do need to be there, that 7%, in order to make sure that you, or indeed anybody else who's exporting into the rest of the European Union, can do so without fear that the rules are somehow going to work against you.
Thank you, Mr. Clegg. Nigel Farage.
Oh dear, oh dear.
You've used some seconds up. I'd hurry up if I were you.
7%? What are you on about? We had one of your friends from Brussels, Commissioner Viviane Reding, in London the other week, saying we must all sign up to the United States of Europe and we must recognise the importance of Brussels because, after all, it makes 70% of our laws. Even Gordon Brown said over half our laws are made in Brussels. In Germany, the former president conducted a review and concluded that 84% of their federal laws were conducted in Brussels, and you put this pretense out to people, many in this room are running businesses, who know that all the regulations that affect their business are made in Brussels. We obey the rules, sir, because we believe in the Anglo-Saxon rule of law. It's our culture. Actually, most of the rest of Northern Europe obey the rules too, but in the south, they have a completely different attitude, which just goes to show what a tragedy it is that the Mediterranean was signed up to Nick's beloved euro and that tens of millions of people have now been forced into poverty. I want a Europe where we trade together, cooperate together, but a Europe of sovereign free states, not a political union based in Brussels, run by unelected bureaucrats.
Nigel Farage, where do you get the 75% of laws figure from?
Well, that's the estimate that we've made, and we've asked people.
Okay, but
we've asked people to counter it.
I think it's fair to say, where do you get it from?
If I went with the German figure, I'd have gone higher.
Okay,
yes.
the German figure is 84%.
The German
Viviane
would
Reding
say
says
he was
70%.
misquoted. I have to say that. Go ahead, Mr. Farage.
I mean, whichever way it is, Nick, whichever way it is, the one thing I thought everybody was agreed on was that one of the reasons we're having this debate, and that Nick challenged me to this debate, is that the European question, whether you agree with it or not, is of fundamental importance. And I've not met anybody serious who said that less than half of our laws were now made in Brussels.
Well, can I tell you someone who is serious? It's the House of Commons Library, and I suspect the House of Commons Library is going to know better than Nigel Farage or indeed the German president or anybody else how many laws in the House of Commons, which is where laws are transposed onto the statute book, how many of them are generated here in Britain, how many of them are generated in the European Union. Their estimate is 7%, not 75%. What we've heard this evening on jobs, on immigration, on investment, and now on EU laws, again and again and again, are the wrong facts. Now, let's disagree, fine, but I really do think that we owe it to you, we owe it to everybody to make sure that these debates on a very important issue is at least based on facts. And the House of Commons Library has been unambiguous, has said that it is 7%, not 75%, and I believe them.